Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to the AskGolfNut channel and welcome to Tour Edge Exotics Max. Their game improvement iron with so much tech in it to try and help you hit the same number, the same distance, regardless of where you hit it on the face. There's lots and lots of tech to talk about. First of all, I do want to say one thing while it's in my head, is they have this CB, the MB, which I've got also to test, I'll be doing it after this. And the difference between the shaft specifications of all three is that the CB and MB are a certain length. When it comes to the Max though, being the Max, it is a fraction longer, about 1/4 inch or so. I will put the specifications up on the screen so you can see. Tech-wise in this head, we have plenty of it to try and help you on your way. We have multi-material thickness. We have 100 interwoven pyramid shapes with 3 different 3D thicknesses, maximizing ball speed to expand that sweet spot and try and also make heel and toe misses better. On the subject of misses, I will be hitting this all over the face, heel, toe and low in the normal heat map style to see actually how much ball speed you do lose when you don't hit the middle. We'll test that one the second half of the video. We have a MOI design, MOI, moment of inertia, resistance to twist, low, further back center of gravity to try and stabilize the head as best as possible. We do have a 360-degree undercut design, a multi-material carbon and TPU badge, basically to try and keep everything as quiet as possible, because being a very big golf club and very hollow, it can get very loud. We'll test that one as well. Very strong lofted, 27.5 degrees this 7 iron is. Yep, 7 iron. We are at a hole, as you can see. We're all over water, and this will probably make myself look stupid, and I will be testing all of those 100 different shapes out on the face. Top lines though, we have a very, very thick top line. This is definitely on the real estate kind of golf club. If you, as a golfer, want confidence inspiring looks and your confidence means big, then you'll love this. Sole thickness is rather large. We do have an intricate, interesting design down by the golf ball. We do have a decent sized blade length. We have a certain amount of offset there. I will not lie, it is there. So for the offset police, either you like it or you don't. It is there. Is it the most offset in the world? No, but it's a fair, decent amount. But again, this is the game improvement. People who want a bit more confidence, and definitely this gives you confidence when you go down by the golf ball. Right, let's go give this one a hit. Let's try and keep the speed to a certain level to try and keep the knee from hurting, but we'll see how we get on. This is a daunting shot. Woof. Now, considering the amount of tech in that, that felt better. That's gone a long way. Oh, that's coming back as well. Is it going to be one of those ridiculous in the hole off the back? Probably not. That's still a good shot. Club head speed 87.1 miles an hour, club path 1.5 from the inside, and then face is slightly closing, little baby draw dynamics. Strike is good, 2 mil toe, 1 mil high, that is it. We are going 185 yards. 185, that's a long way. Yeah, it is. 199 total distance. We're launching at 20 degrees and spin is rather low. I'm not surprised with a 27 degree 7 iron, 27.5, but yeah, quite strong. 2.5 yards offline, 36 yards in the end, 47 degrees descent angle. That's the most important thing. So spin, before anyone goes off about spin, as long as you've got enough spin to keep the golf ball up in the air, we talk about more so when we're saying about drivers than anything to do with irons. Generally speaking, with an iron, you've got plenty of spin to keep the golf ball up in the air. So you don't necessarily need to worry about the spin. The spin is there for flight, and you want the consistency of flight. So it's the consistency of spin more so than the number of it, which is the most important thing. So as long as it's delivering, even if it is slightly lower, and we'll test the face spin rate at the second half of the video when we do all the performance metrics for it to see actually how good it is. But feel-wise, considering this is a full-on, no holds barred, properly game improvement, let's whack as much tech as we can into their head, it actually feels all right. Whether it's because of that carbon TPU, you can really hear it. It's a very carbony, but then that's the whole idea. It's trying to dumb the noise down. And it's doing a decent job, because that was a decent hit. 87 miles an hour is not quick. Bear in mind, this is basically within half a degree. The same as my 5 iron. It is slightly shorter because obviously this is 7 iron or 6.5 iron length, and my 5 iron is 5 iron length. And that is within reason, within about 4 yards, going as far as my 5-iron. It's going as high as my, and that's a slower swing than my 5-iron, because a 5-iron, long, you kind of get the idea. So it is quite impressive already on how it's managing to do its thing. That is stopping, and it didn't go in the water, which is a win. I'll take that. That is a leak. That is a leak. Please make the carry. It did, and again, from this, you'd take it. That's out to the right, but it's a win. Club head speed, 88.1 miles an hour. Club path was good. Face was not. I think you'll agree that face was slightly open, so we have now gone 10 yards to the right-hand side, but still on the green, which is good. With good a strike, 1 mil toe, 1 mil low. Again, very, very close to the middle. Launching at 20 degrees, we're going 181 yards of carry, which is a long old way, especially with a face open of 2.5 degrees. 194 total distance, 38 yards in the air, 38.4, really good. And then 48.7 degrees. I mean, that's stopping. That's really, really impressive. Like properly impressive, considering that is face not where I want it. And that is hit target and stopped. Is it going to be my club of choice? Absolutely not. It's massive. But if you want confidence inspiring, and it feels really quite good. I don't know what's going on the back of the hosel. There's a little kind of notch taken out the hosel, whether that's to do with weight saving, I don't know. Am I testing out those 100 different shapes for the face? Not quite yet, but we will do. Don't worry. I'll whack it everywhere to see how well it does. We'll also go test it at 3 different swing speeds like we normally do. In the iron case, it's 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour, because again, all golfers don't swing at tall speeds, so it'd be interesting to see how well this does when you start taking some speed away. Also the heat map testing, like we do on all of the reviews. What can you say? Go on, backstop it. Come on, back quickly. That's a really good result. This is a very good golf club. Club head speed, bang on, 88 miles an hour. Club path, face to path, very 0-0. 3 mil toe, 3 mil low. Again, strikes very, very good. I mean, this is a big golf club, but I'm not using hardly any of it. Launching 19 degrees, spins at 4,500. 182 yards of carry, 1 yard offline. 36 yards in the air, 35.5. That's rounded up. And 47.1 degrees descent angle. That's stopping on any green. That's really, really impressive. It really is. Feels pretty good considering it is a big old golf club with lots and lots of tech. And works. Okay, it'd be interesting to see what happens when you've done the speed down. Really will do. So 70, 80, 90 miles an hour is going to be an interesting test. But at the moment, I cannot complain. But that's leaking slightly off to the right. I did try and hit that high to see how much versatility I've got in the head. I mean, that is not hard to get high. That's an evil green. Off to the right a fraction, and look at that for a putt. Wow. 88.2 miles an hour club head speed, not too bad at all. We've got club path 0.1 from the inside and face slightly open of 1 degree, 1.2 degrees. Strike's not bad though, 4 mil toe, 3 mil low, so pretty darn good. I was just trying to hit it slightly higher. Launching at 20 degrees, we go and carry 185, total distance 197, 3 yards offline when it comes to FSX. But as you saw from actually hitting on a green, what happens when you hit the wrong part of the green, even a few yards away, that's a lot further right than 3 yards away. But 39 yards in the air and 48.5 degrees descent angle, that's stopping. That's really, really impressive. It really is. I quite like it. I mean, for the golfer that's going to need help, wants to get the golf ball launching, want to get the golf ball going, get some distance, got some forgiveness, it's got it all there. For the golfer who wants this as possibly a driving iron, I mean, these are fairly strong lofts, and I can't remember what it comes in. Again, lofts up on the screen, but if it comes in a 5-iron, which I think it does, that could be used as a driving iron if the 7-iron is 27.5 degrees. One last one, because I want to see, should I hit one lower? It may not stop, but let's just hit one slightly lower, shall we? Go on for fun. We've gone normal, we've gone high, can we go low? Definitely, look at this. I mean, versatility gone crazy. Oh, is it just yet? Well, it has stopped on the basis that it hit the slope. I don't think that would normally count. Clubber speed 88.3 miles an hour. Club path slightly from the inside 3.7 degrees. That's what happens when I go low. I put the ball further back, which means it's earlier on the arc, which means the path is slightly more from the inside. The face is slightly closer in 1 degree or so. We are delivering a little bit less loft. Now we're hitting more down, as you can see, 8.7 degrees. Strike's a little bit toey. That's what happens when I tend to move it. It happens that way. That's my pattern. 11 mil toe, 0 mil highs, but it's a decent strike. We're launching now at 11.8 degrees. Nice and low. Spinning still at what, 4.2, so that's not bad at all. 183 yards of carry. Very consistent at the yards of carry, regardless of what I do with this. 2 yards offline, 23 yards in the air. Yeah, 23 yards in the air, that's a little bit lower than previous, nearly sort of 20 yards difference, so nearly 50% of the difference. But we're going 37.6 degrees of descent angle, so if we had not have hit the kind of going upslope, that would have scoot out the back. But again, it's got versatility. I can move around if I want to. It's not just sticking everything up my left nostril. It's doing really, really well. Right, let's go hit this. 3 different swing speeds, 70, 80, 90 miles an hour. Let's go test it all over the face. Haven't really been hitting that much offline when it comes to face contacts today. So let's go whack it low, whack it major toe, and whack it in the heel as well. Let's go test out those 100 different bits of face thickness to see how good the Exotics Max really is. So this is the heat map for the Tour Edge Exotics Max iron, and you can see that green blob is rather nicely sized. It is like kind of delisted over to one side. We are looking at it as very much so more helpful towards the toe. So if you haven't seen these before, these are a heat map representation of what happens when you don't hit the middle. How much ball speed do you lose? And of course then distance, because ball speed on a flat faced iron is very, very close, extremely close to being correlative. So effectively, as you can see here, if you were to go minus 18 on the left hand side, that is the toe side of things, you are losing, give or take, around about just into the 3% of your ball speed, and hence 3% or so of your distance. And that is really very, very good. 18 millimeters is a long way from middle. Okay, this is a very big golf club, but it is still a long way from middle, and it's only losing just into the 3%. Very, very good. If you go over to the heel side is on the right-hand side, the plus numbers. And yes, it is a little bit more sensitive, shall we say. It's not as consistent as the toe side of things. So if you still move over to that 18 millimeters across onto the heel, bearing in mind that you've got a red strip down the bottom left hand side there on the overlay. You can see on the heel that there's a little red strip. That is 21, 22, 23 millimeters away from the middle on the heel side, and you are going to be interacting with a hosel. And because people think that a bigger game improvement iron, you've got more room, yes you have. However, because commonly game improvement irons have got this thing called offset, where the head is actually further back, it actually makes the hosel protrude into where you're going to be hitting it. If it was on set, or at least flush with it, and it was bigger, then you'd have more room. But again, won't bore you with that. But it's a little bit more consistent from the toe than the heel, and no different a low. Low is less consistent than the toe, but it is much better than the heels. The heel's the only part of this golf club that it really does not like being hit from, and so you can move all the way to sort of 15 or so millimeters low on the face, and you're only losing minus 3% of your distance and ball speed. Still very, very good. Radar chart time. All this information that you can see when it comes to heat maps, when it comes to the radar chart, and also the self-fit tool in a second when we do the 3 different swing speeds, all available on my website, www.askgolfnut.com, where we have about 100 plus or so irons. Remember, this is silly season coming out very, very soon, so all of 2026 irons will be banged on there as well for the website members to be able to compare how all of the older and new stuff compares up against each other. So effectively, if you're looking to change your set of irons when it comes to 2026, and you want to understand how different golf clubs perform compared to each other, AskGolfNut.com has a lot of information on there for you to compare against. But the radar chart is a really good tool for you to understand how a golf club performs relative to another, and also relative to the averages as well. This is a super game improvement iron. It is a big golf club, and so you can see there straight away you've got the toe, heel, low, and forgiveness overall, and then you've got the other side. This is the face speed, face spin rate, and launch factor. That part is very much so, it's loft for loft adjusted for one. Again, if they were all set at say 30 degrees, how do they work? But it's very much so dependent on the golfer. Different golfers will require different things. Some golfers need more launch, some golfers don't need more launch, some golfers need more spin and more face speed. It'll be unique to you. So it's not until you add in the Super Game Improvement averages, so all the Super Game Improvement irons that we've got in the database, if you average what their performance is and you put it up against the Tour Edge Exotics Max, you can see from the toe, the Max is better. It's very, very, very good off the toe. Heel, it's slightly worse, and low, it's within reason. Okay, it's fractionally better, so it's basically exactly the same. And then when it comes to average forgiveness, if you were to average the toe, average the heel, average the low compared to the average, if you can tell me who wins out of that, you're a better person than I. They are basically within reason. The Tour Edge Exotics Max compared to the rest of the Super Game Improvement irons is basically as consistent. Face speed, this is where you have a measure. Again, if everything was, say, 30 degrees and you were to test them, how fast is that face? And it has a fractionally faster face than the average. The big difference you can see, there's the face spin rate. Now, it has not got, loft for loft adjusted, a very high face spin rate. This is a fairly low spinning iron. Now, what I will want to say about the spin side of things, people get their knickers in a knot talking about spin, and this iron doesn't have enough spin, this iron has too much spin, mainly on the low spin side of things. Remember, spin an iron, it's not like we're talking about a driver. A driver needs spin to keep the golf ball up in the air for optimized distance. When it comes to an iron, spin is there for consistency of flight. So the level is not necessarily the most important thing. It's the consistency, the standard deviation of your data set is the most important thing, because stability when it comes to the amount of backspin that you have, not the overall amount, but the consistency of that amount will dictate what your flight is like, and it also dictate what your distance control is like. So it's the consistency of it rather than the amount. But this golf club would suit absolutely a golfer that spins the golf ball way too much and needs the help getting some spin off the golf ball, then yes, this Tour Edge Exotics Max will do that. When it comes to launch factor, you can see that it's slightly higher than the average. Again, that's not necessarily too much of a surprise when it comes to the Super Game Improvement irons are that high. They are big, but the fact that it's slightly better, it launches the golf ball slightly higher than the average, is a rather good thing, shall we say, for the slower swinging golfer. Let's go over to the self-fit tool now. We'll have a look at the 70, 80 and 90 miles an hour to see how well it does work for the slow swing speed golfer. You can see this is the self-fit tool on the gold tier. This is a great tool because it'll allow the website members to effectively put all their swing dynamics in their own individual characterization of their swing to see how it works when it comes to all the golf clubs on there. If you change all the sliders to suit your swing, so you can see on the top there we've got 70 miles an hour already selected. Again, that's a slider, you can move it for your 7-iron swing speed. You've got angle of attack, how much you hit down on the golf ball. Some golfers even hit up. You can change that depending on what your angle of attack is. And then you've got shaft lean set at -2. Shaft lean is effectively D-loft. Some golfers D-loft more than others. Some golfers actually add loft. So let's say you had a 30-degree lofted iron and you deliver 28 degrees of dynamic loft, that's -2. If you have a 30-degree lofted 7-iron and you add loft, you deliver 34 degrees, then you effectively your shaft lean is +4. Again, sliding thing, you can set that to whatever your swing is. That will change all of the flights, that will change all the numbers, all the distances as well, because you have got gappings on there as well, which is really very, very good. But if you can see, we've got the 7-iron already selected there. You've got the carry max at 137 yards, the carry average. Carry average is effectively what happens when you have, say, like a half-inch miss off the toe, heel and low. What kind of distance that you lose from that average miss as opposed to your maximum out of the middle. 137 to 132, you're losing around about 5 yards from a half-inch miss across the face, which isn't bad at all. Peak height is 21 yards in the air, descent angle is 39.3. So this is the only problem when we're looking at a 70-mile-an-hour swing in the way that I'm doing here, angle of attack -2 and shaft lean -2. I always have them at -2 for continuity during the reviews, but you can see it's under 40 degrees. When you're talking about a slow swing speed golfer, not only do they need as much distance as possible, which is really good, everyone needs distance, but you need functional distance as well. Anything under 40 degrees going into a green is kind of on the lap of the gods, or you've got to be playing on a swamp for it to stop. So at 39.3 degrees, I would honestly say that really 8 iron should be your last iron. Now, of course, if this was a package set and you've got all of them, and bear in mind, they do offer 4 iron, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, pitching wedge, approach wedge, gap wedge, sandwich. There's plenty of irons there to choose from. In reality, I'd be stopping at 8 iron, because when you look at the 7 iron going at sub 40, you're going to have to be playing on really soft greens for that to stop. At that point, I'd want to go into some form of direct line iron replacement, a hybrid, or a very, very high lofted fairway wood to try and get that functionality back. If you go to 80 miles an hour though, as soon as you change and go to 80 miles, only 10 miles an hour, but it makes a world of difference. You're looking at carry max is now 163, much better, 158, still losing that 5 yards from that average miss. Peak height is 28 yards in the air, much better, and descent angle's now at 44.1 degrees. Much nicer descent angle there. That's going to control into a green. If you go to the 6 iron though, at 41.5, that's getting a little bit touch and go, because remember, 6 iron, the shaft's getting a little bit longer. Generally speaking, golfers have a propensity to miss more when they get further away from the work. You're generally speaking a bit more accurate with your pitching wedge than you are with your 4 iron. So you can understand that as soon as you start mis-hitting it slightly, you're going to start losing ball speed, you're going to start losing peak height, and you're going to start losing descent angle or control into a green. And at 6 iron, you're already at 41.5. It won't take much whatsoever to go under the 40 degrees, and it gets a little bit bum tweaky after that. So even that, I would say 7 iron at 80 miles an hour should be the last golf club that you should finish before going into that hybrid or direct line replacement, unless you're a golfer that hits a 6 iron really very, very well, or you're a golfer who delivers slightly different to promote a little bit more in the way of peak height and control into a green. Go 90 miles an hour now, that same 7 iron, 185 yards. That is really getting out there now. Average carry still at 180, so we're looking at a 5 yard difference. 36 yards in the air and 48 degrees descent angle, basically 47.8. I'm not going to get worried over 0.2 of a degree. But at 90 miles an hour, delivered like this, that same 4 iron is going 224 yards of carry now, which is well past my 4 hybrid into my 3 hybrid territory, 33 yards in the air and 42.5 degrees into a green. So even the 4 iron at 90 miles an hour, that has got a chance of stopping. Now, of course, at that kind of distance, would I use my 4 iron? No, I'm into a hybrid anyway, but different golfers will want different things. And of course, at 224 yards, you don't have to do too much to put that slightly back in your stance off the tee and hit a little bit more of a stinger shot, and that could be your driving iron for certain. It is a very well performing distance inspired club, this Tour Edge Exotics Max. To conclude, for the Tour Edge Exotics Max irons, looks, feel, performance and forgiveness. Looks and feel first, let's put them together. Looks wise, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It has got some offset there, yes it has. It is a big golf club, it's a big old sole with an interesting sole design. It is a rather thick chunky top line and it's got some decent sized blade length, some good real estate down by the golf ball. So if you're someone who wants that, then it gives that in spades. When it comes to the feel, considering this is a super game improvement iron and it's a battering ram, it's distance gone crazy from a point of view of it's just doing every single thing it can do to try and get the golf ball going. It actually feels rather nice. That carbon TPU kind of badge that it's got at the back there may not look the nicest thing in the world. It does an amazing job at trying to control that sound, that noise from impact, to something which feels a lot nicer than it looks from that point of view. When it comes to performance and forgiveness, again, we'll put that together again. The only thing I would be wary of on this golf club, it performs really very, very good off the toe, pretty darn decent off of low as well. A little bit not as good off the heel, but it's still, consistency wise, on the head as an average, it's really quite good. It's just that when you're looking at a very, very slow swing speed golfer, just be very wary of your composition requirements. Don't just buy 4 iron to sand wedge because that's what you get sold or that's what's on the website. Just, you need to know what you want to buy. Again, that's the reason why we have the self-fit tool there, so you can put your information in there, your own swing information with all the different golf clubs we've got on the database, so you can see which irons will work best for you at your swing speed. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go and give it a big old thumbs up, hit that like button, usually like, so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. It is free. It is the best button of the lot because it does help the channel out if you could subscribe, so thank you. Next to that one is a bell icon, that's a notification bell. If you click that one, that'll let you know next time I upload another video. Hope you're well. We'll see you again soon.